Hey guys, what's up? It's Ripe again. In today's video, an entitled Karen attacked a disabled veteran at a grocery store and then accuses him of starting everything. She calls the cops on him and tries to get him arrested. Here is what happened. Subscribe to Ripe on YouTube and hit the bell to turn on notifications. The story begins with me and my friend going to a store. I am a veteran and both I and my friend are disabled. I am able to walk with a cane, but my friend is in a wheelchair. We got to the store and started doing our shopping as normal. Shopping was not our favorite thing to do. It was hard to move around and people were always staring. There were many good people that helped us when we needed something, but many others were mean, just like the person that stopped behind us in this story. "Excuse me, I need help," said a female voice from behind them. "I don't have a whole day to wait after you," she added. I turned around and looked at the woman. She was the spitting image of what you would call a Karen. Everything about her was screaming Karen, her clothes, her hair, and the purse. I already knew that the conversation would be an annoying one, but I still replied, "I'm sorry for making you wait after me." "What can I do for you?" I asked, smiling. "Don't make fun of me." "I need help finding something in the store, of course," she replied. "I'm not an employee here, lady. I cannot help you." "That's just disrespectful and disgusting. I want to speak to your manager," she shouted. "Lady, are you deaf? I don't work here," I said. "I don't have this place's uniform." "Do you understand the words I am telling you?" I added. "You cannot talk like that to your clients." "Your client is your boss and I demand respect," she said. "That might be true, but the only thing is that I don't work here," I said again. "I want to speak to your manager," she shouted. "Lady, I'm a veteran. My boss was a general major, and I'm pretty sure he won't be willing to listen to you," I said, smiling. She goes closer to me and snatches away my cane. I lose my balance and fall to the ground. I felt my back and leg hurting very badly afterwards. I was laying on my back, unable to move. "Haha, you cannot move, old man?" she asked, laughing. Karen got closer to me and started laughing even harder, and because of how angry I was, I gave her a leg sweep and she fell to the ground too. She quickly got up and she was ready to scream, but then she noticed her sunglasses were on the ground, smashed. "I cannot believe this. First you assaulted me and then you broke my glasses," she started screaming. "These sunglasses are more expensive than everything you have ever seen in your life," she added, pretending that she was crying. "You harassed and assaulted me first," I shouted. "That's not true. You sexually assaulted me and pushing you was self-defense," she said and then looked at her glasses. "These glasses are more expensive than your house, old man," she added. "And you think that's something to be proud of?" I asked. Karen started hitting me with her purse, but my friend intervened. "That's enough, I'm calling the police," said my friend. Karen goes closer to her and starts hitting my friend with her purse. When my friend tried going back, Karen pushed her out of the wheelchair as well. "See, I put you both down," said Karen, laughing. "All you had to do was help me find some milk, but you had to play smart and funny, and look where that got you," added Karen. Karen then takes out her phone and calls the police, stating that I and my friend sexually assaulted her. Meanwhile, the manager came, shocked by the scene he had in front of his eyes. He helped me and my friend to get up and apologized for not coming earlier. "What happened here?" asked the manager. "What happened is that I was just doing my shopping in peace, and these two kept following me around the store. At first I didn't think anything of it, but then they attacked me, sexually assaulted me and tried to rape me," she said, presenting again that she was crying. "I was very scared," she added. The manager was confused, looking at us and then at Karen. The story Karen told was hard to believe. My friend and I told our side of the story and how things really went. Meanwhile, the police showed up at the scene and started asking questions. "This woman is lying," said the manager. "Police officer, these three right here tried to assault me," shouted Karen. "At first it was just these two, but the manager joined them. They assaulted me right here and I only acted in self-defense," she said. "We will check the security cameras and see exactly what happened," said the police officer. "There's no need for that. I already told you what happened. They assaulted me and you have to arrest them," added Karen. "Unfortunately, lady, we cannot take anyone's words just as the truth. We gotta do our job, and if they are guilty, we will arrest them," replied the policeman. The police checked the security camera and they saw and heard everything that really happened. Fortunately for me and my friend, the quality of the store's security cameras was amazing and you could also hear the conversation really well. The police knew what they were dealing with, so they went to arrest Karen instead. When they went back to the store, they saw that Karen was trying to run away. She was running towards the exit, but a policeman started running after her and grabbed her by her hand. "Why are you trying to run?" the policeman asked her. "You said you were not guilty," he added. "I was not trying to run. I'm not guilty. I got sick and I wanted just to breathe some fresh air," she said. "I was running because I didn't want to vomit inside the store," she added. "Please follow me back inside." "You were right about everything. We will arrest those people," said the policeman. Karen followed the policeman happily, smiling and giggling. When they all got back together, Karen went closer to me and whispered, "You're screwed, old man. I am winning this." The police officer came from behind and put the handcuffs on her. She started screaming and kicking. "You are under arrest for assault, false declaration and also for trying to run," said the policeman. "But you said I was right," shouted Karen while trying to kick the policeman. "I lied, just like you did when you called us," said the policeman. "Stop trying to kick me if you don't want to be charged with this too," he added. She was arrested and taken to jail. My friend and I continued shopping and we also received a 50% discount coupon and many apologies from the manager. In the end, everything was fine, my shopping cart was full and I and my friend laughed about the whole situation. And yeah, Ripe Stars, I am very glad that Karen got what she deserved in the end, because you definitely should not attack veterans or pretty much anyone in a grocery store. This Karen was clearly up to no good and I hope she learned her lesson now. Either way, let's continue to the next one. And the next one is titled Amazing HOA Maliciousness. But with a twist. I'm on my HOA's board of directors. Okay, I'm the president, just shoot me. So our governing documents list any external change that requires an application. Fences, sheds, tree removal, things like that. Oh, and also flowers. Even annuals. The board did not write the governing documents, the builder did, but we are still legally obligated to uphold them, no matter how ridiculous we find them. We can change them, but number one, it's a big expense, lawyers want money for a reason, and number two, have to get 66% of homeowners to agree to the change. We cannot even get 25 people to a meeting, and we have 230 plus homes. Needless to say, it ain't happening anytime soon. Did I mention the board thinks it's a stupid rule? Unfortunately, we cannot just ignore the rule if we don't like it. That can lead to homeowners saying things like selective enforcement. And neighbor Z planted flowers without permission. I don't need permission to build a full-size bird of prey replica in my backyard. So damned if we do, damned if we don't. Unless, in most HOAs, homeowners can request a variance if the rule creates an undue hardship if a homeowner wants to install something in a setback/easement, etc. The HOA doesn't have to approve it, but the option exists. Cue maniacal cackling. I hatched a plan. An evil plan, that is. I created an online survey where homeowners could request a variance to the application requirement for flowers. Everyone who signed up received a digital waiver request, which was then forwarded to the board. The reasoning for the variance? I believe this restriction is unnecessary and overly burdensome, as the exterior of my lot will not change, just the flowers in the flower beds. I agreed to submit applications for all other items in the governing documents. Wanted to include something about the builders being poopy heads, but I saved that for a different day. About 40 homeowners requested the waiver/variance, which the board granted en masse. What do we have here? 20% of homeowners who won't have to follow a rule? Guess that makes the rule unenforceable for everyone. Flowers for you and you and you. And please no hate for being on my HOA's board. I realized that HOAs have bad reputation for being governed by power-hungry, petty and obnoxious Karens, but my board is pretty chill. Just mow your lawn, pay your dues and bring in your trash cans. And yeah, Ripe Stars, I feel that is also true. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you sign a deal with the devil when you join an HOA necessarily. However, there definitely is a big risk for shenanigans to come up. Either way, the next one is titled Douchebag Neighbors Get What They Deserve. This one neighborhood on the outskirts of the city was a bunch of old but still in good shape tract homes, with the majority of them being homeowner occupied, and had a primarily Hispanic/Latin population. Well, as home prices skyrocketed, this neighborhood became one of the few affordable places to buy a home in the whole county. My friend and her brother had bought their house while the prices were still decent and I was renting a room there. We are white but love the culture and are not trying to change it. It was the kind of place where on Fridays we would walk down to the neighborhood park where a bunch of taco trucks set up and eat and hang out with the neighbors. Everyone was very welcoming and we got invited to all kinds of cookouts, and the first funeral I'd ever been to that was a huge party with dancing and laughter that truly celebrated the person's life. Still one of my favorite neighborhoods ever. One day we are out front talking to the neighbor across the street who is super nice and friendly. Suddenly, this older white woman quickly waddles up to us and just starts talking. She does not even introduce herself, but I think we all know she is Karen. Karen is talking to the neighbor in that very exaggerated way. That means she does not think he speaks English, so she must speak loudly with big gestures. This is just straight up racist based on his looks, because we were speaking English when she rolled up on us. She tells him, not asks him, but tells him that it is time for him to paint her house. At this point she is doing over-exaggerated Karate Kid, paint the fence gestures and saying, "Paint, you know? Paint the house." We are all stunned into silence with, "What the hell?" Looks on our faces as she keeps going. "That light blue is no good," shakes her finger in his face. "No good, it is bright." Shields her eyes from the house like she was looking into the sun. "Too bright, do you understand?" Now, there is no HOA or city ordinance limiting the colors of the houses in this neighborhood, but none of the houses had any unusual or unique colors. These were tract homes with only about 5 different colors when they were built, and most of them were the original color or something similar. The neighbor's house was still the original color, so this light blue is not unique at all. It's literally one of the most basic colors and is on a lot of homes that were built during that time. Also, the paint on his house was in good condition, not peeling or anything. So, my roommate, the neighbor and I all find our voices at about the same time, with my roommate saying, "What the F are you talking about?" I'm like, "Who the F are you?" And the neighbor going off in a tirade of very loud and fast Spanish, but Karen is undaunted in her quest. Realizing my roommate and I speak English, she starts yelling to us about how she just moved in and she is trying to protect her home's value, and it is obviously time for him to paint the house, and she wants the neighborhood to have a certain color palette with more neutral tones instead of this carnival, or carnival, I'm not sure, thing that was going on now. And yes, she pronounced it like the celebration in Rio, but over-exaggerated, and it was clear she had never been to Carnival or even seen pictures of it, because again, the houses were mostly the same boring colors from when they were built or similar. My roommate and I keep interrupting her and telling her she's being racist. Nobody cares what she wants, the paint looks fine, she has no right to tell him what color he can paint his house, and this neighborhood's culture was established long before she showed up. So if she doesn't like it, she can move, because she shouldn't have moved here in the first place with that attitude. Suddenly, the neighbor waves his hands in front of our faces while saying, "No, no, 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 no," and then pointing to himself, and that is when we realize the neighbor is acting like he doesn't speak English. Since roommate and I know he speaks perfect English, at this point we are just trying to contain our laughter, waiting to see what he's gonna do. Well, he starts talking to Karen in Spanish, the same slow, loud way she was talking to him in English, complete with big gestures and everything. Now, I don't know Spanish very well, but from what I could understand, he is telling her the colors of the houses in the neighborhood and how her house is blue, darker shade, and his house is blue, so what is her problem? Karen clearly does not understand and is getting more and more upset, but when she looks at us for help, we tell her that we don't understand what he is saying either. Karen is fuming and we are trying and failing to contain our laughter. This goes on for just a couple of minutes before the neighbor's 10-year-old son comes out on their porch and loudly asks him if they are gonna go to grandma's for dinner in perfect English. The neighbor then turns to his son and says they are leaving as soon as mom gets back from the store, also in perfect English. He then turns back to Karen and starts speaking to her in Spanish again, and although I don't know exactly what he said to her, there was definitely some swearing and at least one not nice name to call a woman. He then says to us, "See you Friday for dinner," in English, and walks away. It takes Karen a few seconds to realize what's going on, then her face turns bright red and she's just sputtering, unable to put together a complete sentence. We just walked away, still laughing. Now here is the malicious compliance part, I think. A couple of weeks later, I am out of town for a couple of days and get back very late at night. As I'm getting my bags out of the car, I realize that it is very bright outside. I know it's a full moon, but something is just not right. I start looking around thinking one of the neighbors must have put in some walkway lighting or maybe even a floodlight over the garage, but that is when I see it. The neighbor across the street had done what Karen wanted and painted his house a beautiful bright orange. And I mean, this thing was practically neon. Under the light of the full moon, the house actually looked like it glowed in the dark, and that is why it was especially bright out in the middle of the night. I laughed so hard I was in tears. The next day, seeing it in the daylight, the color was actually more of a peach than a neon and looked nice, but for whatever reason it was glow in the dark orange at night. Some might even call it a carnival orange. It surprised no one that Karen turned her home into a rental and moved somewhere else. And yeah, ripe stars, that is what entitled stupid racist neighbors deserve. Although I gotta admit, I really like neon colors too. But maybe I'm just weird. I gotta say, I'm not good with colors anyway. In my native language, you would say I am color weak, so basically for me it is very hard to differentiate green, red and brownish colors, so maybe that's why my thumbnails sometimes look weird color-wise. Who knows? Anyway, the next one is titled Stupid Entitled Mom in Parking Lot. I was fresh out of a doctor's appointment and on my way back to work, only enough time to stop by a local grocery store to get a few things because it was gonna be a late work night at the office. When I finished my visit at the store, I'm on my way out to my car and get stopped by a woman. Choosing beggar, "Excuse me, can you help me? I have no money and I'm living in my car with my kids and we are hungry. We just escaped a bad situation." Me, "I'm glad you got out. I'm thinking and surprised to be approached randomly, so yeah, I can get you something real quick." I look at the subway knowing it will be quick and filling. Let's go in subway. CB, actually, can we get something from the Mexican cantina? I don't like the bread from Subway." Me, well, I'm in a rush, very unsure how to respond and is trying to think, gets interrupted. CB, "Oh, that's okay. If you have any loose money, I swear I'll go in and get the food for my kids and I." Me, "I unfortunately don't have loose money and only my card, but if we can go in Subway, they have more." Then gets interrupted again. CB, "It's the bread. It's just..." I can't. I swear they're fast putting together food at the cantina. Me, "I really can't and I don't have time. Think how else I can quickly help her and her kids. What about the deli section in the store? I need to be back at work. I'm so sorry." CB, "Really, the cantina is fast. Maybe you can pull out money at the ATM. Me, "I'm sorry. I am late back to work and I don't have time for the cantina." I then proceeded to walk away and all I could think was, how could you be hungry and choosy, especially when you have kids? Update, I offered things as well from the grocery store deli section and she said no on the cantina and then yes. She did have kids with her, I saw them. And yeah, ripe stars, I'm curious if you have ever encountered this in real life, when you helped someone out who was on the street and they then turned into choosing beggars. And I gotta say, I usually frequently do this because I really hate seeing people out in the street. However, there are not even that many people out here in the street in northern Thailand, so this mainly happened in Bangkok. And so usually you give these people money, but they are pretty much never satisfied with what they get. But either way, I hope you enjoyed today's stories and I will see you again tomorrow.